cheers and enjoy the beers. Yes, Rasko and Disco beer review with me, Disco, coming at you live once again from in front of the cans and bottles here on the bar in the kingdom of the Disco Arms. I am once again live and late as ever, because I always estimate how long it takes me to set the damn thing up. And so I aim for 8:30, and as you probably know by now, sometimes get somewhere near it. But yes, read all about it. Extra. This is a Disco Day extra for those people who have been viewing the channel or seen any of our reviews over on Instagram. It's a little thing I started about 4 years ago called Disco Day, where I happened to notice a few beers with disco in the name, and being my nickname and the name of the channel, I thought it'd be good to collect them up. And once again, I've got a bunch of disco beers. These ones are rather old. Well, they were last year's disco beers. It is the eve of once again one of my favorite breweries, I guess. I do feature them quite a lot, seeing as the other week I did the birthday beers that were a year old. Well, these ones are from October, November of last year, and I've seen that Turning Point are releasing another set of 3 new beers with disco in the name. So I impromptu got the thumbnail together, cobbled it together to get these beers out and actually get round to doing them. Thanks for popping in. As ever, David Wilson, good to see you. Thank you very much indeed. And Craig, Kent Beer Reviews, also thank you very much indeed for popping in. I'm going to do things only slightly different. I've got 5 beers, so I'm going to try and rush through them. I might just do a couple of them the tasting. The first one, obviously, is one of the original disco beers that I first remember seeing, even before I did the whole Disco Day and the Disco Collection malarkey. It's Disco King, 5.1% American Pale Ale. I'm going to pop it all in a glass. Right, so, but I've got it again on this one because it's new can wraps, much the same beer. Shame about the a little bit of damage. That's because Turning Point do insist on using UPS. I think these came down on UPS anyway. But so the first beer is what I'm going to do. And Photos and Ticker, thank you very much for the reminder. So beers 1 or 2, because I've done this one before, I'm actually going to do a double joint review straight away from the off. I'm going to put 2 in a glass. Obviously, they're not entirely the same beer, but I just want to see if I can get the difference between a regular Disco King and what is now, I guess, a double pale ale version, if that's a thing. Is a DPA a thing? Which is called Disco Flux. So I imagine it's much the same beer, but 7.5% version. So let's get the big beer straight out the way. All the others are 5.1% randomly. That one looks a bit darker to the naked eye, but maybe, yeah, it's kind of a bit hazy, I guess, in the glass there. Now, then we'll do the photo from that. Let me have a little quick sip. Anyway, welcome to Disco Day Extra. I'm not putting a number on this one. I normally number it, but this was meant to be done round about December of last year. I try and do them kind of around Christmas and my birthday in July, so I am doing that. But Disco King, 5.1% American Pale Ale, featured often on the channel and the reviews. Cheers, happy Disco Day, everybody. Oh, wow, still good. It's a beer I really shouldn't like. I've said it before. I think I said it on a live, certainly when I was chatting to the Cameron from Turning Point on a live over on the Instagram live days. Really shouldn't like this beer because it is kind of hoppy, but it's a nicely balanced hop note American Pale Ale for me. Mark, good evening. Thanks for popping in. Good to see you, Craft Beer Hub popping in. It is a really, really hot, muggy evening here. I don't know about where you guys are. So a nice cold beer. These have all been in the fridge, so a nice cold pale kind of goes down pretty well. Shouldn't really like this beer, like I say, with the hop note. Feels like it's toned down a little bit, that, on this iteration. I guess it's the same brew, really. I can really smell and taste the hops. Once again, not done the setup probably because for the life of me, can't remember what it is. Wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't a bit of Citra or a bit of Mosaic or something in there. Yeah, so I want to put it against I suppose it's a double pale ale, or is it just... Yeah, it does say double APA, so... can't see that one. That's not good. Moved it up. So, once again, from... underneath Lord's Brewing, from the old can maps, keeping with the bright colours and the pink and the yellow, but they do like a good space theme. So they've gone a bit more on the old space and science fiction kind of bag on the otherwise excellent artwork as always from Turning Point. If it's worth a palate cleanse between the two. This one looks definitely slightly darker, slightly pillowy ahead. Same sort of hop note on the aroma. Cheers. 2 beers in one, eh? Wow. Yeah, so from a noticeably much stronger on the palate, a 7.5% beer from the off, why not? It's got some, again, those hop notes are slightly amplified, but still nice and smooth and really oddly drinkable. I wasn't sure I was going to like this one. I'm not usually a big fan of Dippers double IPAs because they kind of bring that hop note up too much. I've said before, this one is somewhere around the kind of territory of dry pour, which again is a slightly divisive product these days, but still nicely drinkable, if slightly too hoppy. And again, it's one I shouldn't really like, so I put that in the same category as this. But it's got a nice balanced hop note. It's punchy, but not too earthy or grapefruity. I always complain about grapefruit. These two kind of settle it down really nice. Really good balance. Let's have a quick read up. Step into the spotlight with Disco King. It's not about me, it's about the beer. The beer that kickstarted our adventure. This American Pale Ale is a harmonious blend of hops and malt, creating a balance of citrusy notes and a smooth malt backbone. Just like a disco ball casts its glow, Disco King will light up your palate with every sip, making you the true king or queen of the dance floor. Got other beers for that, so I wouldn't be smashing it all day and then get on the dance floor. I need at least 4 or 5 before I get dancing like no one's watching. Oh, I see. So that's Disco Kingdom #1. Oh, I see. That's number 4. So they've all numbered them with hashtags. So that's number 1. And that's number 4, because there are 2 others in the meantime. I've got 5 beers in total. Let's check it out. There was anybody else think about Turning Point? I know I keep banging on about them because I really do enjoy their beers. In the meantime, beer festival in Dis. I know you talked about that one before, Marcus. I've got round to doing it. I was talking about the beer festival at Ealing last week. Didn't see Turning Point there actually in Ealing. They are normally got a cask of something or other. Yeah, I could just sit and quietly drink these evening. They are really nice and really palatable and really cool, really cold. So they are kind of oddly thirst quenching, oddly refreshing. I order them direct off the website usually. Occasionally I'll pick the odd one up off of Trembling Madness because they do stock them. So always fairly easy to get hold of. As well, I'm always talking about Turning Point. They were my Brewery of the Year a few years back, mostly for their stouts, actually. So it is good. And this is one of the things about Disco Day. It sounds a little bit self-indulgent. It sounds a little bit... I try not to make it about me. I try to make it about myself. It's just these things amuse me. I like the fact that, when I first started noticing it, beers have got a disco name. It's just a random nickname. And, Rasko started it by starting a channel that, so I always do it. I try and do it around about July and around about December. It does mean I keep beers for a little too long, but as well, I don't mind that, especially on the pale ales. These held up supremely well for 8 months. Maybe there's a slight amount of hop fade, but I don't mind that. That works for me because he's really, really quaffable, really nice. Disco King, as I've had before, and I can chuck that down on a warm day quite happily. I wouldn't say I would have more than probably 2 pints in a row because I think that hop note build up would get a little too much for me. Same for dry pour, to be fair, but I'll always have a pint of it if I see it, First time I had this one was around about 2019, I think, or was it 2018? At the Doncaster Brewery tap room on a football trip. I was just about to leave and go and find another pub because we'd kind of been abusing the hospitality there. I saw this big pink and yellow circle go up on the pump clip, and I saw the name Disco King, and I'm like, I persuaded everybody to stay. So, I'm glad I did. And then during lockdown in 2020, I saw them online, so I picked them up. Yeah, I sort of am. I tried to stop. I can stop any time, but there you go. Enjoyed Ealing Ice. Yeah, same. I couldn't get there to meet up with you on a Saturday, David. I ran out of days really, and getting back over there, and I had to go out to the brewery anyway. Funnily enough, I was there on a Sunday, picking up empty casks, which was kind of pleasing. I think we'd sold through 8 casks. Yeah, we sold through 8 casks, and as far as I know, they all pretty much, or near as damn it went. So all those Paravel beers, especially the one I featured, the Oak, last week. It was a really good festival. I think it's really well organised. It's nicely done. I think they could probably do the tent a bit different, just for people getting in, but because that bit at the back is a little bit dead. But the beers are generally pretty good. There's a good selection, certainly, and even on the Friday evening, I do that thing. So I always like to go on a Wednesday and Thursday because I find the fact that you get to a beer that you're looking at and I really want to try that, and I've left it and it's already gone. And I should imagine you had even more of that on the Saturday. They do keep 1 or 2 casks fresh, unopened, just to put on the Friday and Saturday to mitigate that. A little bit biased because I was chatting to the owners because they did that beer with us. So really nice guys, really helpful. And know their beers, like their beers. So I think it was a really well organised festival, biggest festival in London. So yeah, I had a good time. Glad you did as well. The volunteers. All staffed by volunteers. Of course, I knew a couple of them. A couple of them were our customers. So I stopped short of actually volunteering to go on the bar myself, mainly because I didn't really have time. I was trying to do content, and I got a few reviews out, and then both days I got 2 or 3 reviews in, and I had a beer that was just okay, and I kind of was a bit deflated with it, and I'm like, I just trying to enjoy some beers. But yeah, all the volunteers on the bars were generally pretty good. I did loiter around the Paravel bar a little too much, just watching people serve and watching all the comments about our beers. It was quite funny because I had a mate there I'm seen for ages, so I'll buy you a beer. Let me buy you one of my own beers, which is a weird experience, buying what is essentially, it's not my beer, I just work there, but it's essentially my beer, so buying my own beer away from the brewery is kind of funny. But yeah, I went up there and said, these 2, can I get these 2? A half of the Oak. And the bloke volunteered by the bar, I didn't know, and he went, "Oh, I would suggest you try it first. It's kind of unusual taste." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know what it's about. Yeah, I know what it tastes like." These two don't. I'm getting them. So if they don't like it, it doesn't matter because I'm buying them off. It's fine. So that was always quite amusing, and I couldn't help myself sometimes going, "Yeah, I know. I brewed it. I didn't. I helped brew it." It's like, But yeah, no, it was a really good festival. Really enjoyed that. Really enjoying these two beers. Little bit impromptu today, like I say, because the new lot are coming out tomorrow, and I've had these beers 9 months, so I kind of wanted to get through them. So I haven't prepped any other kind of things to look up or videos to show. Apart from, might as well do this now. The oak was my first. Yeah, I call it oak. It's like Walpole Okie Dokie, or Okie Dokie is the kind of official name, but I just call it oak. It's easier. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was certainly an slightly unusual flavour with the oak leaves in it, a kind of tanniny, kind of bitterness rather than hot bitterness. Very unusual. I really enjoyed it as well. Funnily enough, having tried it on cask, and last weekend we had the keg version on the bar, which was also really drinkable. I actually quite enjoyed the bottles. Actually, there's some kind of, I don't know, slightly thicker, maybe more voluptuous, oddly, in the bottle than the cask, but all three really superb. Yeah, so glad, and everybody we spoke to seemed to have a good time there as well. So I was pleased at that. Yeah, so let's have a quick look. I guess at the next lot of beers, probably a little bit too early to do that, but if I don't have any other thing, that's released tomorrow. Also in can on the website, but tomorrow the beers go live on a whole bunch of venues, 60 venues up and down the country. I don't think there's any near here, and I'm at the brewery again tomorrow, so I haven't really got a chance to find out. And indeed, all weekend, but they're sticking at 5.1% resolutely. I wonder how they do that across the range. I can see for the pales, I guess it's much the same brew, just with slightly different tweaks or additions. But they've managed to get the stout in at 5.1% as well. So the new one's released. Looks like they're doing a different rebrand again of Disco King, or going back to somewhere similar to the original. They've rebranded their logo, gone with like the kind of spaceship, which used to kind of be just off their logo. Their logo always used to be Turning Point. Yeah, so the different pale ale tomorrow is going to be the tropical pale. I've got a mango version coming up, which I can't imagine is too far different. So these don't look that much different, although it is a different name. So I'm going to have to buy them on a Disco Island. Give you some tropical island notes by the looks of it. Disco Jester, which I guess is the hop, says UK hopped pale. And a Disco Midnight dry hop stout. I'm not a big fan of dry hop stouts. I prefer not to have a hop note in my stout, and I've tried a few hoppier ones. But I'm going to give them a go. Obviously, I don't need to buy any more beer, but I do need to get these ones out of the stash. That's why this is kind of a Bash the Stash style show. But there we go. That's out tomorrow. So, like a good little fanboy, I will most likely put my order in tomorrow. And they'll arrive next week, and hopefully I won't take 8 months to do the next lot. I will call it Disco Day Extra again. I have got 5 different other disco beers for the next Disco Day, which I believe is Disco Day 9. Who's it 8? I'm forgetting how many I've done. Started in 2020, done 2 a year plus a couple of extras. So yeah, I got 5 different beers for the next Disco Day. So I normally do that in July. And I haven't even released the video for the previous one yet. So I'll try and do that before I do the next lot. And I'll do them over on Instagram. But we shall see, I guess. I'll probably get them in anyway, as I say. What did we look? Just going to have a quick scroll through and see what I said about the Let's say about it last time. See if I can quickly find a Disco King, because I've done 2 or 3, I think, on the grid, but they're going to be harder to find. No, that's going to take far too long. Let's have a little search. Yeah, it doesn't actually say what the hops are. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere. That's why I think it's Citra Mosaic. But let's have a little nosy around the Internet of Things. I do love a good little bit of investigative things and stuff. Let's see if we can find Turning Point Disco King. First point is, of course, to go on to the website. £3, a little bit of reducey, always good. Yes, I think I'm over 18, despite what Twitter seems to think. Bow down to the flavour. How does that look? There we go. So that's kind of the old branding. Like I said, redoing something else. So it says, bursting with big juicy hops atop a clean malt base is a groovy dancer flavour that reigns supreme. That's really annoying. Sorry, Turning Point. I do like a little bit of hop information. See what else they've got. They've got a lot of pails. I never normally get stuck into their pails that much. I think I've got that basic equation of raspberry wheat. I've got that sunshine indoors to do. That was a good mango ale, mango and saffron lassi pale. And with that milk foley. Oh, what's that? What on earth is that? Aztec Death Whistle. 9.5% dark fruit chocolate mud cake stout. Cola brewed at salt. They've done 1 or 2 colas with salt. I've still got some of them to get into, the blueberry one. But I rather like the sound of that. So, well, that's something else to put on the order tomorrow, isn't it? That's not what I was after, though. But that's interesting. Yeah, so I'll be on this website tomorrow morning ordering those new Disco King beers. Anybody? Oh, there we go. It says, according to Brewery, it says. Well, there you go. Iberia says Disco King has Mosaic and Chinook, whereas Beer 52 seems to think it's Simcoe Mosaic and Chinook. I wonder if they variate the hop bill at all. Look at all the YouTubers who've done Disco King. Look, there's Raggy and Andy's beer reviews, and of course Real Ale Craft Beer at the top there from when it was in Asda. Well, yeah, seems to be less than conclusive. Anyway, so some variation of Simcoe, Mosaic, and possibly Chinook. Chili in the stout. Was it chili stout? I missed that. It's just a dark fruit stout. Got to try a chili stout now and again, see if it's any good. Some good lacing on that glass as well. or that kind of hoppy beer that goes down surprisingly well in that way. There you go. Can you see how woefully underprepared I am for this stream tonight? Normally I have loads of other things to play and little things to talk about. Today it's just about the beer. I mean, expected. Oh, I see. Right. Yeah. No. So didn't. No, I didn't have. Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah. You would think if you know something Aztec, it would have some kind of chili. I suppose chili or chocolate is both the same, isn't it? Really, I suppose. There you go. I like this. This is really nice. I don't need to smash through these to try and get onto the next ones. But I don't really want to string this out. To be fair, I want to get onto the next one. It does taste stronger. That one, the 7.5% version, still really clean, still pretty fresh, I think. It's a little bit of grapefruit, but it's more kind of. I often say when it gets some gets like citrusy hop. If they get the balance in, it's kind of like a marmalade-y thing. When it comes really sweet, so it's kind of like it's a bit like lime marmalade. She's got that kind of big sticky sweetness going on, which really works for me. To be fair, so much better than just another hoppy pale ale. I'm pleasantly surprised at that. I really am. Okay, I'll tell you what I do because I've nicked that. Oh, this is really bad planning, isn't it? Haven't got another glass. That's really terrible. Oh yeah, Disco Day. Yeah, so Disco Day 8 I did after Christmas this year. We do it before. So I've got Disco Day 8 video to put out, and then Disco Day 9 beers to do whenever I have the time. I'm running out of time. For somebody who doesn't do a lot, I am running out of time. Mostly because I started off doing a couple of days up the brewery, which often ended up being one full day and 2 half days. And now I'm on at least 3, which often ends up being 2 full days and at least either 1 full day or 2 half days somewhere in the week. I do like a nice clear day to do videos. I've got 2 videos I'm trying to get around to editing. I was hoping to get them released this week. I've got another one to review of another unboxing of a box of beers I got in somewhat accidentally this week. And I'm still running out of time to get all that content. That's why I like to shove in a nice live now and again. Just to keep up with the algorithm on a weekly kind of thing. Oh, that's what I should have done. I should have chopped up that interview with Turning Point because we put it out on YouTube. Carried over from when we did the Instagram live. Can't play all that though because we spoke to Cameron from Turning Point 2 years ago now. Yeah, do you know what? I've never actually, apart from on that stream, I've never actually done a standalone video of Disco King because the first few Disco days were solely on Instagram. I never worked out how to do 5 beers at once on video and then edit it down. So I only started doing that a couple of years ago. So I've got nothing to play you. Do bear with me a second. Look at cans and bottles. I'm going to be right back because I need to do this. Bear with me. I forgot to ask, is anybody having a beer with us tonight? What's anybody drinking? If I'd got this organised, I would have put up Turning Point and see if anybody got some. I need to do that. Right, let's open this next one and do another side by side. This one is for you, Sammy, if you watch this back at any stage or you pop in. Disco Down Under. So it's an Australian hopped beer, which often ends up being much the same. Ah, here we go. This one does. Let me come back to that. Right, so this one, still 5.1%. Embark on a journey to the Southern Hemisphere with Disco Down Under, an Australasian pale ale that captures the essence of distant lands, featuring hops of Galaxy, Ella, and Nelson Sauvin. So they call it an Australasian, because I think Nelson's from New Zealand, so it's kind of not purely Australia. But never mind, we won't nitpick on that kind of thing as long as it's good. And I do like Nelson Sauvin, of course. So this brew delivers a unique melody of earthy, floral, and citrus tones. The word earthy bothers me because I often find that just means grapefruit. Disco Down Under resonates with the spirit of exploration and quotes the good times. Well, let's check that out then. Move that up there. Again, I haven't balanced this really well. But yeah, so 5.1% Australasian pale ale. I must say I don't know anything about Ella hops. Can't necessarily say I've had anything with that. Wow. Well, I don't know if you can see that already, but isn't that pale? It's very, very much opaque, almost clear. Can you see me? I can kind of see you. Yeah, it's a very, very clear, very pale ale. Again, looks darker on the screen, but you see it's definitely very clear. Plenty of carbonation racing up the glass. Still looks good, I've got to say. Just going back quickly, I never did read this one because I was looking for the hop notes on this. So this one's 7.5% double American pale ale. The long-awaited return of Disco Flux. Oh, so they have done this before. I've missed that one. The intensified sibling of Disco King. This double American pale ale bursts onto the scene with amplified hop character, bringing vibrant waves of tropical fruit and pine. See, probably because I left it so long, I never got any pine. I got some kind of fruitiness, and like I say, a kind of limey marmalade to it. Again, doesn't actually say the hops, which is a little disappointing, seeing as the others do. You'd want to let people know, I would have thought. So, yeah, kind of does. It looks like a light lager because it is there's a lot of clarity on it. Still a little bit of haze, I've got to admit. But looks good. Carbonation racing up the middle of the glass. There was doing a Left-Handed Giant Dreamhouse IPA picked up a litre of Left-Handed Giant, a Hogsback. Fair play. Getting some different draft beer. Fair play. Hey! Talk of the devil, as it were. Short and stout. Cheers, Sammy, for popping in. Yeah, I thought originally it was just an Australian pale ale, but it's Australasian. They've cheated slightly. They've got a little bit of New Zealand hop in there, but I'm sure that applies to Australia as well. So I just going from a night shift, ready to crack a few morning beers. Get on, join in, brother. Thank you very much indeed. Good to see you. Yeah, so 5.1%. Don't see me drinking hoppy pale ales too often, and the first two, because I've left them 9 months, probably weren't massively hoppy. Nicely creamy head on this one. Yeah, nice looking beer. Again, like I say, this is why I do the Disco Day beers as well, because it means I do get to try some stuff I wouldn't normally take a second look at. Oh, hoppy pale ale, great. But it means I try it, so I'm pleased with that. Oh, definitely a nice fruity note. There's a little bit of Nelson in there. I can get that, and I only say that because obviously being at Paravel, I'm getting used to Nelson so long because along with Motueka hops in their flagship pale ale, and I do have to say the latest version of that, I absolutely smashed through some pints of that on Saturday evening. And Sunday, to be fair, because we had the football on up there. And yeah, so I'm kind of getting into Nelson and Motueka, and yeah, the very pale up there was absolutely sublime, just smooth, voluptuous, and really balanced across. Little touch of hoppiness, touch of grapefruit, but so I've got big shoes to fill with anything with Motueka. I automatically, and I shouldn't, I know, but I automatically now compare every beer with a certain type of hopping to what happens up at Paravel. I shouldn't do that. I should remain impartial, but I kind of can't help it. And it's that kind of way my brain works. Let's get into this then. See what the comparison between the regular version. It'll be interesting to see how that compares with the English hop version next time. Anyway, yeah. Cheers, man. Oh, oh. That's interesting. Can definitely taste that Nelson now. Now I know what it tastes like. I think there's a tendency sometimes for it to go a bit too grapefruit for me. And it has got that tangy aftertaste of kind of grapefruit. Like I say, it doesn't always work for me, but because I've got that Baravel thing where mostly it does, I can definitely taste it. It's not quite as balanced as I'd want it to be. It's kind of like light, kind of fruit juicy, but like it's not watery. It's light, like kind of fruit cordial kind of is. Yeah, your hop fans would kind of love that. Thank you very much indeed, David Wilson. And despite the fact you reminded me earlier, I completely forgot to do the photograph on the others. So I just won't get around to it because I'm going up to Brewery tomorrow, so I won't get around to posting it. Good evening, Paravel fan. Thank you very much indeed for popping in. Sarah, good to see you. I'd like to think you're a Paravel fan too. Cheers. Yes, it's got a very similar flavour profile with that Nelson in there to the very pale, but which again is only 4.4%, so they seem to pack a lot more into that. But 5.1%, it kind of is quite. It is quite light, but it's got a decent body on it. Yeah, that's oddly much. Yeah, it's oddly hoppier. Yeah, that's a good point. I keep seeing that white grape, and I just don't quite get it. Passion fruit. Yeah, the lime I don't quite get. I've got more lime off of that one. I think my palate is just not. I often only get one kind of flavour from a hop. I don't get that nuance of. I mean, white grape. I guess, but I think that just because it's kind of like. It's just like psychosomatic of Nelson Sauvignon wine, which I've tasted because we put some on the bar, and I still haven't got a clue about wine. Yeah, I normally say like a generic tropical fruitiness. Passion fruit, I'm not a big fan of. I want to be. It sounds great, but yeah, white grape and lime. I see that quite a lot. Maybe my palate just isn't refined enough, mate. You know? It's like sweetness and tartness. Yeah, I'm not sure about the sweetness coming from the hops, but that's fair enough. But it's definitely like, yeah, tartness, definitely a zinginess in terms of in the way that if you bite into a grapefruit, it kind of zings. Yeah, so I never see grapefruit in the write up for Nelson, but I always kind of get that. And I'm getting it now. It's a kind of, yeah, sort of like grapefruit and melon a little bit rather than grape. But I guess I can see how, again, I always say these different palates kind of pick up different notes, don't they? But I've got doubles of all of these, so at some point next week, I might just crack the rest of them because I need to get them out of the stash. And I always get doubles of them, so I might just crack the 3 I've got because I don't think I've got another Disco King, and I only got 1 off of that one. So I might just do them on a day next week and put them all up together. It's only for the Instagram anyway, and like I say, I will never get around to doing it tomorrow, probably. I'm leaving that. I think I'm going to leave the double. Like, see how it sits there. You can still see the lace in there, and you can still see that head retention. It's pretty good. But this one is I'm getting into it. It's getting there with that fruitiness. The grapefruit is kind of subsiding a little bit. I'm still searching for that white grape and lime. That's just why I always go to grapefruit, I think. That's good notes, Sammy. Cheers for that. I like the fact that other people come up with that kind of thing. But this one, I'm getting into. I'm struggling a little bit with that kind of hop in it. No, Simo, good to see you. Thanks for popping in, sir. Just smashing some slightly self-indulgent disco beers, beers with disco in the name. As you know, I love that kind of thing. This one, yeah, still 5.1%. They managed to get them all down to 5.1. I wouldn't say it's a big one to finish because it's big for me because I do like fruit additions in beers, and I've got a mango version, disco mango, coming up. I find it a bit cloying now. I'm going to have to refresh that palette. I'm going to put the 7.1 down there out the way. I will sip that a bit more slowly. Don't need to be smashing a 7.5%. When I've got a few 5.1s to get through. Oh, yeah, funnily enough, I've got 2 mango beers to finish. Let's put them up. Some more excellently tropical kind of can wrap artwork there. Disco mango, and I couldn't help myself. I got this one in a while back, and I've never quite worked out where to do it because I've had it before, but I don't think I've ever had it in a 440. So I got this one again and picked it up from the supermarket. Kind of old favourite of Drygate's Disco Forklift truck. Is like an old favourite. Little Stubby's a 330. I think I've just covered that up, haven't I? There it is. You can't see the background, but it is in there. The old can and the really old can. It's good train beers back in the day. Used to pick them up from Sainsbury's for trains back. David Wilson shaved a beard off and feeling lighter. What, full? Fair play. So was that a charity thing, or was that just because, it's the summer? I had a little trim the other day because it was getting a bit bushy. It does get a bit sweaty, especially cycling to work. So I can't go full trim because I look like a 15-year-old. Might be able to get back on Twitter if I did that because they still think we're 13 due to some admin irregularities. But that's what happens, isn't it? Sim, I need to do something similar to the amount of beers I've kicking about that need supping is ridiculous now. I have a feeling it's a kind of beer reviewers nightmare, or is it like it's like beer reviewers issue? If you're anything like me, and I guess you get the beers in, you think, oh, that'll make a great video, or make a great live, and you get them in, it's like, I can't do it tonight. Oh, God, I'll do it next week. Oh, I can't. Because also, like, I've started doing this live thing once a week, like maybe twice a week, and I find it amuses me that I kind of group things together a bit like this. I like to do something because I think it gives me more to talk about. Although I'm running out a little bit today because I haven't planned it so well. But yeah, it's a YouTuber's issue. I think you get all the beers in. I mean, you've seen Raggy's wall. If I put mine out on a wall like Raggy, it would look very, very similar. And yeah, like I say, I've had these in 9 months. These are October 2023 release, and they're releasing the new ones tomorrow. So I'm going to get another box in from Turning Point, and I still haven't done those birthday beers. I don't know if you remember the live stream from a while back where I did the Turning Point birthday beers, the custard session beers. And I know Simo's done the red one, the pink one, pink matter custard, and I've still not got around to doing that. Because on the eve of that release, I did last year's birthday beers, and they held up so well and were really nice. And I've still got last year's dark matter custard, the chocolate custard beer to do. And just, life gets in the way. And at the end of the day, it kind of doesn't matter. I mean, it matters to me because I bought the beer, so I want to drink them in proper time so I can actually taste them. But I kind of feel it necessary to wait until I can either video it or live it so that I can review it. But yeah, yeah, it's a funny old problem to have, isn't it? You must look 20 years younger. I certainly do if I shave it all off. If not, 30 years younger now. Because, well, we're all, none of us are getting any younger. Grows for 6 months, remove, start again. Yeah, it all goes back. That's the thing, isn't it? Doesn't matter if you shave it all off. I look terrible in the first place, so I don't really want to make it worse, to be fair. Well, this is the thing, Craig. I see a few of your beers in your background often. I don't know if are they the empties or the full ones, but thinking about cracking a beer, I'm not going to convince you either way. That's your choice. Therefore, I can't be blamed. Yeah. Aren't we all, David? Aren't we all? We're all Oggets in this space in the nicest possible way, I would say. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you've been to Raggy Shed, so you must know what it's like in there. But, I mean, in the winter, I guess it's the inverse problem. It's not too bad. But on a day like today, it is proper stonkingly warm and muggy up here in that area of London. I don't know about up in Nottingham. But, that would worry me. That would worry me a little. See, all my beers, you've probably seen it. I didn't do a video for today. I was going to try and do that on each one so I can have a look around the stash. But, yeah, my stash is under the stairs on an outside wall, but it's between there's like an alleyway or like whatever you call it between the two houses, so it doesn't get a lot of sun. So my beer stash keeps fairly cool. Like I say, the other week I did that live with the exploding cans because I still had a couple of cans go, which I think is generally the heat, the difference, the rise in temperature rather than secondary ferment. But yeah, I generally do okay. They generally keep pretty cool. For what? Everything. Yeah, blame Rob. He can take it. He's a big man. He's good. Entered his competition. Has everybody entered Rob's competition to win some beer? I was 5 days late, but I think I'm still in the hat, as it were. That's Rob from Bramwell's Backroom Brewery, or Mr. B's Backroom Brewery, and does his own. You all know. Anybody watching afterwards, head over to Bramwell's Backroom Brewery. I'd leave a link, but I can't remember how to do it in real time. Competition. It'll send you some beer. Sounds good to me. Although I did say you can keep the Beer Mungle clones. Not interested in hoppy pales, and yet here I am drinking hoppy pale ales. Kind of enjoying them, to be fair. 2 more to go. It's too hoppy for me to chug in that way, so I'm going to put it to the side and get into this mango business. Does the microphone pick up that squeaky chair? Because it really annoys me. It's a metal stool because it sits at the right height. But It's really fucking noisy. Right, let's get these two into a glass. Oh, that's not going to help. Oh, that's not going to help because I wasn't going to do that in this glass. I've got another glass. I was going to do a side by side, wasn't I? Oh well. I said it before on this channel. I'll say it again. I have never paid for a pint of punk because I don't like hoppy American pale ales. And yet here I am drinking balanced hoppy American pale ales. But I have tried punk, but I've never paid for it because I just can't risk my money on just overhopped, overpriced, and well, it's brewed here, but over here. So yeah, I don't really want to get involved in. I mean, if somebody else has brewed it and it is free, so I shouldn't be ungrateful. And at the end of the day, it's just a hoppy pale ale, and I'm kind of enjoying these hoppy pale ales. Anyway, I've tied my glasses up, so let's get into this one. I have got 2 spare glasses, so let's just get these beers into a glass and check them out. What should we do first? Well, let's stick with the theme. I've just got this one here for a kind of comparison, so I've got 2 side by sides. I don't know whether it matters that it's in a different glass. I can't worry about it at this stage of the game. I've got those 2 to spare. Just got me refreshing water glass, which is one from up the farm. Don't tell the boss, I'll take it back at the weekend. It is plastic, but that works somehow because it's nice thick plastic. Again, nice delicate orange colour. This is one I'm kind of looking forward to, and actually in the glass it's kind of much fizzier, maybe because of the glass I put it in, and therefore the head retention isn't so great. It's kind of bubbled away already. I don't know if that's because of the beer or the glass I put it in. Let me know. Cheers. Now, maybe I'm regretting my glass choice. Maybe I needed to have it in the turning point glass just to retain that authenticity and have that kind of test. It's not scientific, but that's a little, I don't know, I want to say disappointing. Maybe, again, you shouldn't have that expectation level. You should go into it with, like, openness and honesty. And it's just like a glass of kind of slightly weak fruit juice. Might be my fault. Never mind. Let's test that theory by putting its counterpoint. And again, one of the OG disco beers for me. Well, since we're talking about Ealing, I just grabbed a quick glass. We'll put it in the Ealing pint glass and just see what the difference is. Do that comparison. See how we get on. Well, it's also quite light and looks a bit thin. I haven't had one of these for a long time, so I kind of, it was one I just grabbed, and it was always, for me, a touch on the hop side. It's gonna have to move out of the way so I can. I haven't tied this up too well, have I? Like, right, there we go. Yeah, much different. That's the turning point. That's the Drygate. Much more clarity on that. Very badly washed glass. I'm very disappointed in myself. I always used to moan at Rasko about badly washed out glasses. I don't know why that is, because that's pretty new, that Ealing glass from last week. I'm going to turn it that way so we can see the carbonation racing. Lots of great carbonation on that one. Yeah, I kind of like the artwork. there's this thing on YouTube about like having wording over kind of overly complicated art, and I think that applies on beer cans. I prefer a much more simple, basic, almost no can art in a way. So it's kind of difficult to read, and a little bit difficult to photograph, but it doesn't come across too badly on here. Whereas you see like that one, little bit of kind of, they've really simplified that in the last few years. So let's try the Disco Forklift Truck, kind of the OG disco beer. People were sending me messages about this being in Sainsbury's as far back as 2016, before I even really got into what we're going to call craft beer, even though that's not really a term that I use very often. Yeah, so cheers. Disco Day. It's just kind of little. It is like an extra, so I kind of what I call it Disco Day extras. We've got all the turning point ones, and this is going to be a comparison. Maybe that's something. I mean, I'm a bit confused about this because we use these glasses at the farm, right? And the head retention is normally excellent because they are thick. They're as thick as a glass. But I'm wondering if the plastic has kind of killed that beer a little bit. Maybe it's my fault. I don't know. But we have beers up the farm in plastic all the time. And the head retention is excellent on the beers, whereas that one, the head retention has stayed. There's a nice crisp, not particularly mango smell. Mango aroma comes through. What I'll do when I actually do the Instagram photos and do the reviews on the seconds, I'll put them all in the turning point glass just for keeping the logo in it. Anyway, cheers. Yeah, that's different. There is a bit of a hop note there, much less on the mango. That's more heavy on the mango. That's much less mango. Definitely says a mango pale ale. Interestingly, still 5.1%. Kind of like the artwork on that as well. Here we go. Clumsy fingers, as always. Yeah, so Disco Forklift Truck. Everyone's had that, right? We all know Disco Forklift Truck. It's been around a while. Don't see too much from Drygate. They kind of reduced their can and bottle output from the last 4 years. Drygate was another one that had a lot since 2020. It's one of the earliest ones I got in over lockdown and stuff like that. And I got a lot of Drygate boxes sitting around here for beers that I got in. The Orinoco Milk Stout was one of my favourite beers and beer of the year, and I think 2020. I kind of like Disco Forklift Truck less because of that slight hop note to it, less balance. I don't really get the mango. I want a lot of mango in my mango pale ale. Turning point, as I said, I highlighted earlier. At Sunshine Indoors, there was a lot of mango in that. I thought this was going to be similar, so I'm a little. Yeah, I'm not disappointed, but it's just kind of it's just sort of fruit juice a bit. It's not the big finish I thought it was going to be. I love mango. I love mango beers. When it's done really, really well, I've got nothing to compare it to on Paravel. We did a mango sour a couple of years ago. They did. I wasn't with them then, so I can't say it was mine then. Need to get them to do some more mango beers for that comparison, for those comparative purposes. Is everybody else drinking along with me, or am I just getting drunk on my own? What's everybody else drinking these days? I know what David Wilson is drinking. Anybody else got a beer on? I'm always interested to hear about other beers and whatever anybody else is on. What's happened to my thumbnail? Sorry, I just happened to click on YouTube and it's got the wrong thumbnail on it. Not that it matters a lot, I don't think. Well, there we go. Disco Day Extra. 5 beers with disco in the name. I've got 4 still to finish, and I'm going to sit back and contemplate my quality of life. And to be fair, 3 quality beers and a couple. I'm sort of a little. I'm really not sure about that. I'm really not sure about that one. Whereas that one, much more solid beer. Maybe I'll mess things up, I don't know. But like I say, I've got a second of this one, so I'm going to go back and have another look next week and do a proper review of it, because I'm not sure that's really worked out. Let's do the read up on this, because I've just for completeness, because I've done it all the others. This is number 2 in the series, actually, it says. So I've done it completely out of order. I'm getting some kind of breadiness, some kind of brioche kind of stuff going on after malt base there. This one says, we've amped up the already tropical Disco King. That's fair, because I said tropical. With a big dose of fresh mango to take your taste buds to a brave new world of fruity flavour. Oh. It says here, upend before serving. So maybe that's why it's a little disappointing. I don't know. So, like I said, it's maybe my fault. Again, they don't say the hops, if there is any. So maybe when I do the review next week for the picture, maybe I will upend the can. I wonder what that release is. It's not the mango. There's no sediment in there. There's nothing really left. Maybe a little bit. If anything, it just makes it hazier. There's also a slight, I don't want to say off flavour, because I don't think I'm right in that, but there's a sort of, over ripeness. But yeah, there we go. As disco days go, it's just an extra addition to the normal disco day. So I've also got to try and get, like I say, 5 or 6. No, it's actually 6. One I've already done. 6 other disco beers out. I normally try and do it around my birthday, which is Saturday. I don't really care for it, but so at some point, probably next week, I've got to do the other 6 disco beers, and then try and redo these next week on Instagram for the photograph. But it's been a fun Thursday of 5 different disco named beers. Thank you very much indeed to everybody for popping in. And if you're watching this afterwards, and you're still watching by now, thank you very much indeed. Please do comment, like, subscribe, and have a fantastic weekend or week, whatever you're doing. Yeah, cheers and enjoy the beers. I will see you next time. If I can get those videos out next week, I'll see you on those. And then maybe see if I live next week. I'm thinking of doing Wit Beer Wednesday next week. So if anybody's got any wit beers and wants to jump on and say hello to cover any of the gaps in conversation that I have, do let me know by the usual channels. You'd be very welcome. Let me know what wit beers you've got in. So I'll try and get that out on Wednesday if I'm not at the brewery and completely shattered. But yes, thank you very much indeed for all your comments, all your likes. And if anybody hasn't subscribed yet, do click that, because it really helps the channel and all that jazz. Thank you very much indeed. Happy Disco Day. See you for the next one. Until then, cheers and enjoy the beers.